Hi, I'm Angie Scioli, and I want to tell you a little bit about the American History 2 class that I teach at Leesville Road High School. Here's a little bit about me as a person. I think probably the most interesting thing is that I have taught American history at Leesville since the opening of the school in 1993. The course goes from 1887 until the present, and so it starts with Reconstruction. There are three different sources that I consult to give me guidance about what needs to be taught and how it needs to be taught. One is the 8 Essential Standards that is adopted by the state of North Carolina. The second is Common Core Standards in Reading and Writing that help kids learn to read primary source texts and cite evidence and do argumentative writing as well as explanatory writing and peer editing. Also, then we have 21st century skills that are focused on technology, collaboration, and critical thinking. And so those are the documents that shape the course. Each unit starts with a packet. It has the test review sheet at the front. It also should have all the vocabulary students need to be familiar with and definitions related to that vocabulary. There are graphic organizers that are visual representations of all of the information that they need to have to master that unit. And that is the main information they should study for the test. So there are 7 packets that they will have by the end of the course to study. We're not only teaching information here, we're also teaching skills. And here on the screen are the 6 skills that I will be directly teaching in class. We start with a pre-assessment the day after the test. And then we directly teach the skill, and then we practice it by looking at art, artifacts, photographs, and listening to music of the time period to practice those skills, and then they are applied throughout the unit. Homework is assigned most every night, and it's usually to watch a flip video. Due to the state legislature's cutting of textbook resources, we are short of textbooks at Leesville Road High School. So I decided to pilot the flipped classroom model so that students can access the information they need to be successful in the course at night by watching me lecture on YouTube for about 15 minutes. This approach, as you can imagine, has its advantages and disadvantages and favors some learning styles over others, but I thought it was the most appropriate reaction to the lack of resources that we are dealing with, and kind of leverages where things are in society with our resources available. The students complete a graphic organizer when they watch a flip video, and they complete that in their unit packet. I text out the homework and a record of what we did in class each day on using the Remind app. This is what a daily text looks like. You can see it reminds students what happened in class. It also reminds them what their homework is. And if you would like to get a daily text and you're not currently getting one, you can look on angelascioli.com, my website, and follow the links that will tell you how to get those daily texts. In class each day, we start the class by docking our phones in one of the closets in Trailer 1. We are able to dock our phones, secure them. It's optional. It is rewarded, it is recorded, and if you would like to know if you or your student is docking their phone regularly or look at any of their other behaviors, you can request a Class Dojo code. Class Dojo is an app I use on my iPad to just record these behaviors. And you can follow data in terms of phone docking as well as any other behaviors of note. So if you would like a class code, just let me know and I can provide one for you. Students sit in executive teams as a means of learning collaboration skills, and they each have a job. The jobs are listed here on the screen, and they can rotate weekly, and hopefully in time they will build a sense of rapport and collaboration with their teams. I do change them. I can change them weekly. In fact, I'm eventually hoping to get the right mix of students in terms of their motivation levels, personalities, strengths and weaknesses, and pair them with people who are similar to them but also have different leadership skills and strengths. Doing their jobs as well as writing a learning statement is a weekly grade. They fill out weekly reports as well as daily reports that help determine how well they are doing their jobs. At the beginning of class each day, we do current events. I think this is important since they're about to be voting citizens. We do them at the start of class, and they need to do a certain number of those to meet their current events credit. They need to do 3 strong current events or 6 kind of half current events, I guess we would say, to meet their 15-point requirement. In terms of what types of news stories are useful for us to talk about in class time, the executive teams use this decision tree to help them decide if the current event a student brings to class has met the requirement of being worthy of our class time. They don't have to write anything. It's just simply an oral report and kind of a shared community newscast each day. And they just simply need to participate in that 3 times at least to meet their current events requirement. Then we usually have a daily quiz. Students view the flip video and then they come in and take a daily quiz. The students are given 3 terms from the video and they write a complete sentence that explains how these terms are related. The sentence must reflect knowledge gained through the video, and they are given more than 3 sets to choose from. So for example, this quiz here that you can see on the screen, there are 5 possible choices, and they would write 3 total sentences in which they weave these 3 words together in a complete sentence. This allows, it's considered to be an authentic assessment because each student can have individual and unique answers based on their understanding, but also reflect the knowledge they gained from the video. It's important to note that, therefore, the purpose of watching the videos and doing the graphic organizers is not just kind of a ritualistic, let me copy down and fill out this form. Rather, that is the knowledge that needs to be gained and applied the next day in class. So we don't check their graphic organizers for completeness. We rather assess the degree to which they understood the material. They have 7 minutes to complete the quiz, and then we usually engage in daily activities in class. That includes analyzing primary resources, annotating them, and learning how to analyze them and use textual evidence. Also, we do quite a bit of video analysis. It's a lucky thing that we have class starting in 1877. The motion picture camera made it available for us to be able to actually see history unfold in this course. And then we also do seminars where students read a primary document and we gather together in a circle and discuss open-ended questions and support our answers with evidence from the text. This is kind of preparing them for more of a college-level seminar course. We'll also be doing research in this class, particularly related to imperialism, and we'll be using a format called PechaKucha, and it requires students to use visuals and then do an oral presentation in which they unlock the meaning of those visuals. At the end of class each day, students produce a learning statement. Each student writes a learning statement, and that statement's prompt is on the board. They peer edit someone else's learning statement each day as well, and this is preparing them to do the constructed response part of the final exam. One is collected from each group through a die roll each day to determine that the group has in fact collaborated and everyone in the group has met the learning goal for the day. In terms of preparing for a test, they need to study their unit packets. They might need to transform that learning in some way if they are not visual learners. And then they need to, as a final step, look at a PowerPoint I've posted online of questions and answers that lead them through kind of a scaffolded review of that information. And that PowerPoint can be found on angelascioli.com. It's the first unit, for example, has 153 slides. On one slide I pose a question, the next slide an answer, question, answer. If they do well on that aspect of the review, then they are prepared for the test, in my estimation. Assessments. They have unit tests. Those unit tests typically have multiple choice, document analysis, and some application type items on them. They also typically have an essay, a cartoon, or several constructed response writing elements to them as well. Then our professional learning team has put together 3 benchmark sample assessments that are like the final exam, and that makes sure that all the American History 2 teachers are similarly paced and have the same level of expectations. And then the final exam is made by the state and is like the benchmarks that they take given through the department. Test corrections can be done if students are not happy with their test grade and their test grade is lower than 77. They have to meet the 3 criteria on the screen, and they are done orally during lunch and or after school if need be. And it's a departmental policy that they can recover their grade up to a 77 as a result of test corrections. They have quarter grades, and there are 3 types of assignments that make up their quarter grades. They're listed on the screen. And then those 2 quarters count 40% of their grade, and the final exam made by the state counts 20% of their grade. I enter all my grades on home base before I hand them back to the students, so that is my real grade book, and it is always up to date. If you have any questions, this is the way you can contact me, as email, website, or call the school. Thanks for attending to this information, and please do be in contact if I can be of help in helping you better understand how to be successful in American History 2. Thanks.